Exclusive Naruto videos lemon come out on my Boosty. You can watch and subscribe. Link in description. Enjoy watching. Description: what to do if you woke up in the body of a 12-year-old girl. What to do if your whole family ignores you and you never had any friends. Of course, change everything. When Naruto were the Uzumaki afraid of difficulties. Part 7. For the second day in a row, Naruto and Sasuke felt a sense of déjà vu. First, getting to know Kakashi-sensei, all his words and gestures. Now this is a test of teamwork with bells. And for Naruto, the morning actually started out extremely strange and unusual. She got up as usual with the alarm clock, suppressing the desire to throw it at the wall, went to the shower, washed herself, cleaned herself up and went downstairs. Kushina was still circling in the kitchen. Her father and brother were talking, so Naruto was not puzzled by this. As soon as she wanted to wish good morning to her family, Kushina beat her to it, which put the stronger half of the family into culture shock, although the former Jinchuriki could easily compete with them. Good morning, Naruto. Kaa-chan said very quietly then, but everyone heard her. The young Uzumaki herself shuddered quite naturally. Yet during those few months of being in this world, Kushina spoke to her daughter for the first time. And, judging by memory, Naruto here could not boast of communicating with her family. The last time her mother wished her good morning was 4 years ago. Good morning. The girl answered quietly and sat down at the table, where breakfast was already waiting for her. No one spoke anymore, the family ate their food in silence, and everyone ran off to do their own thing. Arriving at the training ground, Naruto saw her teammates had already arrived. Sakura fluttered, like an overgrown butterfly around the object of her adoration, and Sasuke sat silently under a tree with his eyes closed. Apparently he was either asleep or simply lost in thought. Judging by his reaction to her arrival, and Sasuke slightly opened one eye, apparently he felt that the second option was more suitable. Naruto, not paying attention to the pink-haired one, walked to the tree next to the Uchiha and sat under it, plunging into her subconscious towards Kurama. Kakashi still didn't have to wait another 2 or 3 hours. Itachi came, without betraying himself, 3.5 hours later and, after listening to Haruno's tirade, began to intimidate the students. More precisely, to intimidate the same Sakura, because the Uchiha and Uzumaki were not at all intimidated by this. You have until noon, Kakashi reported. The genin disappeared into the forest within a second, and their sensei chuckled with satisfaction. Naruto and Sasuke immediately found each other, and deciding that they would only pass the test together with Sakura, they went to look for her. After all, they had no chance against Kakashi now, not with such preparation, so the best friends decided to show him teamwork. Haruno was found quite quickly, not far from where Kakashi stood. Calling the girl in a whisper deep into the forest, the team moved away from the jounin. Having gone a sufficient distance, the seventh began to discuss the plan of action. Kakashi stood in the middle of the clearing, waiting for his future students to finally take action. More than an hour had passed, and not one of them had made any attempt to attack him. Well, this gives some hope. At least Haruno and Uchiha definitely had to come up with something, but about Namake's Naruto Kakashi wasn't so sure. After reading personal files, Itachi made certain conclusions about his team. And to be honest, he was disappointed to learn that his respected sensei had such a weak daughter. Not only was she unsociable and withdrawn, but she also wrote all tests no higher than satisfactory, which led to certain conclusions. The only thing that surprised him was her mastery of the shadow cloning technique. But quickly remembering that Minato also owned it, he came to the conclusion that it was the sensei who taught her it. In general, Kakashi was puzzled by the fact that Naruto was placed on his team. Personally, in his opinion, Namake's would be better suited to team with Kurenai. There a woman could find an approach to such a strange person. Then he remembered that Naruto is, in fact, a Jinchuriki, which means that she needs special control. And who can the Hokage entrust such a task to, if not his own student? Moreover, there was an Uchiha on the team. This changes things significantly. Lost in thought, Kakashi almost missed his student's attack. He dodged the Uchiha's fireball attack at the last moment, but immediately came under fire from kunai. Naruto and Sakura jointly threw weapons at him, while Sasuke engaged him in close combat, turning on his Sharingan with two tomo. And, as sad as it was to admit it, they took him by surprise. And the Uchiha was well prepared. Lasted 3 whole minutes in a fight against an experienced jounin. And all this time, kunai were flying at him from the girls. After waiting a moment, Kakashi left the genin as a replacement, leaving them alone. Naruto ran to the center of the clearing, running up to Sasuke, who was catching his breath after a long fight with his sensei. Where is he? Naruto's intuition simply screamed that their sensei had not gone far. After scanning the area, she was convinced of her suspicions. Showing the team with her eyes that their sensei was underground, Naruto began to gather chakra into her fist. This ability was passed on to her from her former owner, although before, in another world, Naruto had not used this method in the fight against enemies. Sasuke, realizing his friend's idea, ran to the side and took Haruna with him. Uzumaki, when the rest of the team was at a sufficient distance, hit the ground with her fist, where, according to her information, the sensei was sitting. Under the onslaught of such force, the ground underfoot began to crack and split apart, revealing to the world an extremely surprised Itachi. When Kakashi's head appeared from the ground, Sasuke hit him with a fireball, which Naruto seasoned with an air wave. Why? It flashed through Kakashi's head when he saw this fiery something flying at him. Having escaped the ball with a replacement technique, Itachi landed not far from Sasuke, who wasted no time in firing fire bullets at him. Immediately behind him, Naruto launched bullets, only this time from the air, and Sakura began throwing kunai at him. He had to open his Sharingan to dodge all the techniques at once. Just as all the kunai were deflected and the bullets flew past him, the bell rang, signaling the end of the test. Yes, Kakashi didn't think that he would have to use dojutsu against these genin. And he was especially surprised by Naruto, who was able to not only break the ground, but also use some techniques. Time's up, but you still haven't gotten the bells. What will you do? Itachi said, glaring at his students. They didn't say anything. Apparently they were waiting for Kakashi's decision. Naruto lowered her head again. Sasuke put his hands in his pockets and looked at him with an extremely displeased look, and Sakura twirled her hair on her finger. I admit I was surprised. You worked as a team, therefore you passed this test. After all, the most important thing in the life of a shinobi, these are his comrades. Tomorrow I will be waiting for you near the Hokage residence at 9 in the morning. Don't be late. And he left as a shunshin. Well, Kakashi, Itachi thought, these kids know how to surprise. Report, Kakashi? Minato ordered when the jounin first appeared in his office. How did the 7th team's test go? Hokage-sama, may I go? Another jounin spoke up, whom Kakashi had not noticed before. Go, Itachi. Minato nodded. The Uchiha, who had returned from a rank A mission a week earlier, bowed and was about to leave, but was stopped by the same Minato. Although, you're interested in hearing about the results of your brother's team's test, aren't you? If possible, Hokage-sama. Namikaze nodded, and then turned his gaze to his student. He cleared his throat and began his story. They passed the test. Kakashi was immediately taken aback. I was surprised, to be honest. An hour after the start, they launched a joint attack. Sasuke attacked me with a fireball, and Naruto and Sakura threw kunai at me. Then the Uchiha engaged me in taijutsu and held out in battle for several minutes. He also has a Sharingan with 2 tomo. Then I went underground using the replacement technique, but Namikaze smashed it with her fist, thereby revealing me. At these words, Minato's eyes almost fell out of their sockets. Then Sasuke attacked me with a fireball, and Naruto added the element of wind to this technique, inflating it to enormous sizes. I had no choice but to leave as a replacement. Before I had time to catch my breath, Sasuke started throwing fiery bullets at me, and Naruto air. Sakura added kunai. I had to open my Sharingan to escape all attacks at once. This completes the test. What are your conclusions? The Hokage croaked. He was greatly impressed by the story. The well-coordinated fighting duo of Uchiha Namikaze and I think Sakura Haruno could go to the Irionans. She was of little use on the battlefield, but she had excellent control. This way we get a melee command. Moreover, if the students' talents are properly developed, their team will be very strong. Kakashi was stunned again. Opinions about students based on what they see. Sakura is a rather flighty and indecisive girl, but as I said, she has amazing chakra control and is quite smart, as stated in her dossier. If you direct it along the right path, then good will come of it. I think she's on her way straight to ironing. But we still need to watch. This is based on data from the academy and my assumption, since she did not use any techniques. Sasuke is collected in battle, decisive and strong for his age. He is a very smart boy, I want to note. He knows fire techniques, and taijutsu is at the highest level. I can assume that these are not all his skills. Itachi smiled imperceptibly and nodded, as if confirming Kakashi's words. What can I say about Naruto? At these words, Minato involuntarily shuddered, but continued to listen. Can I speak honestly, sensei? And having received a nod, he continued. The girl is quite strange in everyday life, but when the test began, it was as if she had been replaced. She was collected and determined, which completely does not correspond to her description from the academy. Naruto has good control and is quite smart and intelligent. I bet she was the one who found me underground. She masters the element of wind. And to be honest, she will make a very strong kunoichi. Are you sure about Naruto? No matter how she is in everyday life, in battle she becomes a completely different person. I saw in her the strength that a kunoichi needs. I don't know how her life will turn out in the future, but now I can say with complete confidence that she will cope. Minato bit his lip and Itachi smirked. Still, he didn't doubt this girl. Part 8. Ni-san? Sasuke was surprised at his brother when he saw him sitting in the kitchen of the house and drinking tea. After the day's test, the friends went home, but agreed to meet in the evening to continue their training. But Sasuke didn't think that his older brother had already returned from his mission, which he said was supposed to last 2 weeks. In fact, he was supposed to return only in a week, if not more. Ototo. His brother nodded in response. I finished the mission early. I wanted to make it before your exam with Naruto, but it didn't work out. Itachi smiled slightly. How's the mission? The Uchiha changed the topic, sitting down opposite the elder. He took a sip of tea and closed his eyes, thereby expressing all his love for this drink. As far as Sasuke could remember, the Itachi of this world loved tea very much. He could often be seen with a cup of this drink in the kitchen, and then it seemed that Ni-san needed nothing more than this. He seemed so peaceful that you involuntarily begin to smile. Everything is fine. Standard mission, nothing unusual. Itachi answered briefly and to the point. Congratulations on passing the exam, Sasuke. I've already heard about your and Naruto's successes. Kakashi-san described your ordeal in great detail. He said that you surprised him very much, and it is very difficult to surprise this person. But I suspect that you and Naruto didn't show everything. Sasuke eloquently expressed his opinion on this matter. And he was not surprised that their sensei immediately reported about their test to the Hokage, and the Uchiha was simply sure that Itachi heard about it there. Thank you, Ni-san. You don't need to show us everything. Let something remain a secret. Just between us, Itachi and I. Ototo said conspiratorially, causing Ni-san to grin. And really, why does everyone need to know everything? How did you become friends with Naruto? The elder asked a question that interested him. Sasuke at first, unable to contain his surprise, looked at his brother with a raised eyebrow. And then he grinned. Someday I will tell you about this. Are you in love with her? Sasuke involuntarily imagined himself and Naruto as a couple, and his inner world shuddered from this. No, never in Sasuke's life Uchiha won't date Naruto Uzumaki. Even in his female form. Better than Sakura, seriously. No, despite his internal convulsions, Sasuke answered more than calmly. Definitely not. She and I have a training session in the evening. We didn't think you'd be back so early. The younger one switched the topic again. I think you better rest today. You're just back from a mission. Ni-san, you're tired. There is no need to waste your energy on us either. Nothing bad will happen if you rest a little. I don't even remember the last time you slept well. You're either on missions or with us. To Itachi's surprise, his stupid little brother said seriously. Because of this, a warmth appeared in his chest, which warms his soul and heart. Unable to resist, he reached out his hand to Sasuke's forehead and flicked it with 2 fingers. At this gesture, the younger Uchiha froze and looked at his brother with widened eyes. You haven't done this to me for a long time, and I-san. As Sasuke remembered, Itachi really hadn't done this to his younger brother for a very long time. Since the age of 8. It was at this time that the brothers began to move away from each other. Sasuke was filled with anger and envy towards his elder, and he constant assignments from my father and missions with the team. Itachi had already become a chunin and would soon be given a jounin, so the workload was enormous. And you never liked it, Otuto. And now it's annoying. Naruto was training at the training ground when Sasuke arrived. The girl was just practicing the second stage of the Rasengan, but so far there had been no success. Still, even though she has all the knowledge necessary to master this technique, the chakra is completely unwilling to do it as needed. Kurama said that this is due to the fact that Naruto here has never practiced ninjutsu, so now she has to suffer. Although control plays a huge role here, be that as it may, Naruto has always had a problem with it. Even though thanks to training he became much better, but not perfect. This greatly infuriated and irritated the young Kunoichi. In the end, her favorite technique, which has saved the lives of many people more than once, is now not given to her. Where has this ever been seen? Holding a rubber ball in her hands, Naruto recalled her training with the hermit, looking for moments in her memory for mastering the Rasengan. Sasuke, who caught his girlfriend doing this, stood next to her and also looked at the ball. Nostalgia? He chuckled. Sometimes it hits. Having created several dozen clones, Naruto sent them to master the second stage. It's good that she recently bought all the balls in stores in order to teach this magnificent creation of the 4th Hokage. How are you with Genjutsu? I can cast a weak illusion, I can easily track several enemies at once, but that's all for now. When the 3rd Tomo appears, it will be possible to begin mastering more complex illusions and more active training. The sneezing one shared his grief. And Chidori? No better than your Rasengan. And he sighed heavily. Okay, let's do some sparring. Naruto didn't answer, but just walked out to the center of the clearing. Sasuke, activating his Sharingan with 2 Tomo, followed her. As soon as the friends stood up, they immediately rushed towards each other. It's good that Naruto always puts a barrier over the training ground before starting training, otherwise they would have been burned long ago. Sasuke, having avoided a direct attack, attacked his friend from the left side, but she deftly placed a block, dodged in the air, and landed in the place where the Uchiha had previously stood. Naruto formed the seals and blew out a fist-sized fireball, and then added the element of wind to it with the help of a clone, which she summoned immediately after landing. The Uchiha did not remain in debt, and dodging the technique, sent his own. A giant fireball flew towards Uzumaki, but was stopped by a wall that she put up using Fuinjutsu. This wall absorbs all the chakra invested in the technique, and then transfers it to the shinobi who put the seal. Its disadvantage is that it does not completely surround the fighter. Only on one side. Naruto ran towards her friend, forming the seal of her favorite technique. Immediately 2 clones appeared next to her. The 3 surrounded the Uchiha on 3 sides, attacking with pure taijutsu, but thanks to his Sharingan, he dodged all attacks and blows. Jump up and Sasuke throws 3 kunai towards his opponent. The clones, not having time to dodge, scattered, and Naruto escaped with the replacement technique that Kakashi so kindly showed during the test. As soon as Naruto was at the site of the log, Sasuke fired at her with fire bullets, which were also blocked by Fuinjutsu. Next came kunai with exploding seals. The shelling took place at incredible speed, so Naruto did not have time to escape and an explosion occurred. Sasuke looked around with particular wariness, realizing that his friend could not lose so easily. Having caught some movement with the Sharingan, its owner turned in that direction and was immediately attacked by pure taijutsu from the Uzumaki. Apparently there was a clone there. Friends merged in battle at great speed. However, training brings certain results that manifest themselves precisely at such moments. Having missed a kick, Naruto flew several meters forward, but turning over in the air, landed on her feet, immediately receiving an electric discharge from Sasuke, who had already managed to move towards her. She shuddered but was not incapacitated, so she was able to repel the next attack and even respond with an airstream that knocked the Uchiha off her feet. As soon as his carcass touched the ground, he dissipated, and the original put a kunai to Naruto's throat. I won. Sasuke grinned, deactivating his Sharingan. Just this once. The Uchiha lowered the kunai and the Uzumaki turned to face him. Your chakra is running low, just like mine. If I hadn't created clones before, you would have lost. Still, I have more chakra. The girl grinned. You never know when you will be attacked. In this situation I won. Okay, I agree. But next time, Uzumaki said meaningfully. And finally exhaling, the friends sat down under the nearest tree. Still, these sparring sessions are terribly exhausting. And Naruto still has to dispel the clones. I suggest you rest today and not train anymore. Still, the fight with Kakashi and Uchiha exhausted you. Dispel the clones and go home. Kurama growled in his head. If you say so, that's exactly what I'm saying. By the way, Itachi returned from the mission earlier. I sent him to rest today, but he promised to spar with each of us tomorrow. Sasuke notified his girlfriend. Oh, this will be interesting, Dadabayo. I fought Itachi in that world, and it was very entertaining. Part 9. Although Kakashi said to come to the residence at 9 in the morning, he was a full hour and a half late. As usual, Sakura was ready to attack the sensei with her fists, and Sasuke and Naruto didn't even want to stop her. His tardiness had pissed me off before, and it still pisses me off now. Even the Uchiha who is always indifferent to other persons Sasuke. And he was not only ready to let Sakura beat Hitaki, although he perfectly understood that this would not bring him harm, but he himself would have charged him with something powerful. The only thing that stopped him was his self-esteem. And the absence so far of this, something powerful, in the arsenal. And no, he could have arrived an hour later, only Sasuke did not want to listen to Naruto's lamentations that, you see, he, the Uchiha, was so bad, he abandoned his best friend alone with the pink-haired monster. And Uzumaki could not come later for one simple reason: if she had done so, then all the efforts to remove the mask would have come to a total end. In the end, all three genin waited for their respected sensei for a little over an hour when he finally decided to show up. Sorry, a black cat crossed the road. I had to go around. He explained his lateness by scratching the back of his head, which made Sakura even more furious. But I took us missions. Is it true? What's there? Haruno immediately calmed down. True, now her eyes glowed not with demonic fire, but with unprecedented enthusiasm. It's so scary, thought the great and powerful copy ninja of Konoha. We have to walk the dogs of the Inuzuka clan and weed the garden, the Jounin said with a smile that even through the mask looked like a grin, causing the pink-haired woman to wince, and Sasuke and Naruto to sigh heavily. Again! Synchronously flashed through the heads of travelers through time and space. Kurama smirked in his subconscious, feeling in his gut the future suffering of his most beloved Uchiha. The fact that his Jinchuriki would suffer did not bother him at all. And what? Uzumaki is strong. Uzumaki can handle it. And seeing the red-eyed man's dissatisfied face is like a balm for the soul. Of course, it would be better to see him covered in blood, taking his last breath. He was even ready to help, but Naruto certainly wouldn't appreciate it. Therefore, you have to enjoy the little things, watching through Uzumaki Sasuke's attempts to gather all the dogs of the dog lovers clan into a heap. I hate dogs. Sakura muttered while they were weeding the garden of some old grandmother. I hate vegetable gardens. I hate my life. She did not let up. That's right, because these hellish creatures managed to drive the kunoichi so hard that she didn't even want to live, let alone continue the mission. These dogs were so strong that it seemed as if they were walking Harino, and not she. They pulled on the leashes, tangled them, and broke out of Sakura's hands. At the end of the task, she was ready to go into the sewer, just to no longer see these creatures of demons. Sakura, D-rank missions develop your teamwork as well as your patience and endurance, Kakashi said instructively, which caused even more dissatisfaction on the part of one of the students. He himself, after all, did not in any way help the 7th team complete their missions. Naruto and Sasuke, while Haruno was spraying, slowly began to boil. And only thanks to their images they remained outwardly calm and unperturbed, so that the sensei did not even have any suspicions. Especially about Naruto, because she, like a puppet doll, carried out all the tasks and assignments. However, what did it cost her? Kurama kept marveling at his Jinchuriki and her vocabulary, which throughout the mission of walking everyone's dogs, because I'm an ANBU captain, Databeo, why do I have to bother with these flea-filled creatures? The fact that the dogs of the Inuzuka clan never had fleas did not bother her. That's it, we're done, notified Sasuke when he pulled out the last weed. Naruto, like Sakura, also finished weeding their plots and looked at their teacher point blank. Yeah, well done. Kakashi praised his team without even checking the work done. We must receive the reward from the Hokage, so we go straight to him. How was the first mission? From the threshold, Kushina asked her daughter, which put her into a slight stupor. For the 2nd day in a row, her mother greeted her first, which is undoubtedly progress. However, for someone from her family to inquire about her progress? It seems that there is something huge in the SD forest. Naruto, without leaving the image, looked in fear at her mother, or rather her back, because the former Jinchuriki was preparing something again. Seriously, she spends all her time in the kitchen? However, Kushina didn't say anything else. Apparently, she was waiting for an answer from her daughter. There was no one else at home, so this time no one looked at this scene in surprise or fear, which made it a little easier. Father, as usual, is at the residence. Naruto was with him literally half an hour ago. To be honest, Namikaze Sr. did not even look at his daughter. He simply looked around the team, listened to Kakashi's report, and gave the order to release the money. Akira, as the Uzumaki was known, had left in the morning on a 3-week mission along with several jounin and a couple of chunin. She heard Kaa-chan see her brother off before Naruto came downstairs for breakfast. It's okay, Kaa-chan. That's all Uzumaki said, and her mother just nodded in response. Kurama, why? I asked my bijou a mental question, Naruto. I don't know, but I don't feel anything from her except excitement and fear. This means that she is not planning anything and is not hiding anything at the moment, but, Naruto, I don't understand human relationships, but as far as I remember, in both worlds, Kushina always loved her family. Maybe she's trying to make contact or something. Anyway, be careful. When have I not been careful? Can you remember all the cases? Kurama snorted. Although, I must admit, since you became an UMBU captain, you have more brains. However, this does not change the fact that sometimes you simply take unnecessary risks. Flea-haired redhead, my fur is crystal clear, but after your interaction with the Inuzuka dogs, I would not be so sure about your hair. I need to wash myself. Several times. How's the team? Kushina turned to her again when Naruto finished her mental dialogue with the fox. And I also decided for myself that it was better to leave here for now. After all, you never know what you can expect from a mother. Nice one, Kaa-chan. Even though Uzumaki wanted to change her family's attitude towards herself, she did not think that progress would be so fast. Although more than 3 months have passed since she has been here, this is still too short a time. She is not yet ready to have longer dialogues with her mother. Therefore, having said these words, Naruto went to her room, where she immediately collapsed on the bed. There are still a few hours before training with Itachi, and you can rest. Naruto, you're late! Sasuke notified her when Uzumaki came to the training ground. She immediately put up a barrier and only then paid attention to the brothers who were sitting under the tree. Itachi was reading the scroll, but as soon as Naruto appeared in his field of vision, he smiled his smile, soft and gentle. Sasuke cheerfully flashed his black little eyes, in which they danced. No demons. Apparently, he was looking forward to sparring with his older brother. Sorry, I overslept. With Itachi and Sasuke, she could really relax and let herself go a little. The elder Uchiha became quite close to her, a friend and comrade who was really able to earn her trust. And there were very few people in this world whom she could trust. More precisely, just one. This is Sasuke. Well, and Kurama, but he's not entirely human. Recently, Itachi has been one of these people. But it doesn't matter, you need to be careful with him. After all, he is not considered a genius because of his pretty eyes and fire jutsu. His unconventional mind, his thinking and knowledge were truly amazing. And he can easily expose Naruto if she is not careful about her words or actions. How she would like to completely let herself go in the company of these two, but she can't shed the image right away. Nothing, Naruto. We also just arrived, Itachi said and stood up from his seat. Well, I'll be honest. I'm glad your sensei spoke so highly of you. Still, our training was not in vain. But I would personally like to see your success. So today we will have a sparring match. At first I wanted to do it with each of you separately, but then I decided that it would be better if you two attacked me. I want to see your teamwork. Fine. The genins said simultaneously. Itachi nodded in satisfaction. Let's get started. Opponents stood in the center of the training ground. Itachi on one side, and Naruto and Sasuke on the other. The latter immediately activated his Sharingan. The Jounin was the first to attack, launching kunai with explosion seals at the teenagers. They deftly dodged and ran in different directions. The genin attacked him with a fireball from both sides, but the Uchiha flickered behind Naruto. She instantly turned around and immediately became friends with the genius in taijutsu. He dodged the attacks and blows with his usual grace, until Naruto dodged and, jumping up, kicked him in the stomach. Next, fire techniques rained down on Itachi from Sasuke, who had been waiting for the moment until then. Naruto jumped to the side, giving more space for the brothers to fight, trying to catch her breath and covering her best friend's back. They clashed in taijutsu, but after a few minutes the youngest of the Uchihas jumped to the side and breathed out a fiery dragon, which flew straight at the genius of the clan. He dodged away from the attack, launching an even larger dragon at his Ototo. Naruto arrived on time and, by putting up a powerful wall with the help of Fuinjutsu, which reflected Itachi's attack back to him, saved Sasuke from having to use the replacement technique. This technique is good because it reflects the attack back, but with even greater speed and increasing in size and power. True, all this depends on the amount of chakra invested in the technique itself. The more chakra invested, the stronger the technique becomes. This is its minus, which plays a very important role. But Naruto invested quite a bit of chakra. She needed to buy time to get Sasuke out of the line of fire. The 2 seconds that Itachi spent escaping from under his own technique were quite enough to jump with the Uchiha several meters back. The elder Uchiha was once again amazed at the power and strength of Fuinjutsu. It seems like just a few seals, but such a powerful technique. Of course, the strength of the wall that Naruto put up was quite small, but for her age the girl is simply masterful in the art of seals. In the future, she can become a Fuinjutsu master. Sasuke, as soon as he and his friend escaped from the attack, began to put together seals for the next fire technique to attack his brother. Naruto, knowing the seals that the Uchiha made, began to make others for the element of wind. When Sasuke blew out a stream of fire, Uzumaki sent a stream of air in parallel. The two techniques intertwined, creating a destructive stream of fire. Itachi had no choice but to move with the flickering. He again moved behind his students and put a kunai to their throats. However, these turned out to be clones, which immediately dispersed, and the originals appeared on top. But Naruto and Sasuke made a huge mistake that should not be made in battle against the Uchiha clan. They looked into his eyes. Itachi, in the blink of an eye, activated his dojutsu, and immediately caught both of them in genjutsu. When Naruto and Sasuke were able to escape from the illusory world, they had a kunai pointed at their heads, which was automatically counted as a loss. But we must pay tribute. They quickly realized that this was a genjutsu, so by changing the flow of chakra in their body, they reset the effect of the Sharingan. But even such a delay would be enough in a real battle to kill. "Well, I'm pleased with you," Itachi said as they sat down in the clearing. The children were tired and out of breath, but terribly happy, and the eldest of them sat as if nothing had happened. "Of course, they still have to learn and learn. Firstly, each of you was able to hold out against me in pure taijutsu for several minutes, which is undoubtedly good. Secondly, I was pleased with your teamwork. You covered each other's backs, saving your partner from my attacks. You used joint techniques without saying a word to each other. Thirdly, your techniques have become significantly more powerful and destructive." He pointed to the center of the landfill, where there were burnt areas everywhere. "Sasuke, you have excellent command of the Sharingan, but it is not yet developed enough. I think that the third Toma will awaken soon, and then I will show you a special training, thanks to which I myself developed my Sharingan to the level at which it is now. Naruto, your seal art really amazes me. This can become your trump card if you work hard at it. What about our mistakes, and Ai-san?" "They were, I'm sure." Sasuke asked his brother. "Ototo, if you always dwell on your mistakes, nothing good will come of it," the elder Uchiha said instructively. "Naruto, what do you say? We are using chakra incorrectly." After thinking a little, Uzumaki said. Itachi nodded in satisfaction. "Exactly, Naruto. This is your main problem." But I saw a few more. For the next few hours, the teenagers discussed the results of the battle, their mistakes, each person's strengths and weaknesses. And the fight really was standing.